Hey, what's up everybody? This is Power Glove Pixels back again with a new video. So on today's video, I'm gonna give you guys my top 5 Super Nintendo games of all time. Now, there are so many games on the Super Nintendo, so this is just my top 5. And honestly, it was pretty tough to come up with this list, honestly, because there's just way too many games. But these are really my 5 games that I definitely recommend, must be in the collection, must play. And yeah, let's get this video going. So for my number 5, I'm gonna have to give it to Contra 3, The Alien Wars. This game came out in 1992. I remember having a couple friends having this game, and I never had it personally, but I just used to love this game playing with friends. It was just so much fun beating the bosses. Some of the weapons are very unique, and one of the things that I like about this game so much is the soundtrack, especially someone that plays the drums, someone that plays music. Since I was a kid, for people that don't know, I actually play the drums, and this game just has amazing drums, beat and everything. And yeah, Contra 3 Alien Wars is definitely in my number 5. So for my number 4, I'm going to have to give it to Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. This is a game that came out, I believe, late 1991, and this is a game that I picked up with my Super Nintendo. And honestly, just the graphics, it was based on arcade. And one thing, it wasn't 4 players, but it was 2 players. I don't think the Super Nintendo really did 4 players. I don't think there's any games out there, but I could be wrong. But for me, this game is just amazing. So much fun to play. Graphics just look par with arcade, and I'm always playing it. Great soundtrack. What else can I say about this game? Honestly, I'm a big Ninja Turtle person. I collect a lot of their movies and toys and stuff like that, but this game is definitely a game that has to be in your collection. So for my number 3, I'm gonna have to give it to Super Metroid. This is a game that came out in 1994, way after the system came out. And to me, this game is just amazing. The bosses, the designs of the environments, the soundtrack has that like very scary, spooky sound. And if you have a good setup of surround sound, you really get to appreciate this game. Even today, a lot of games, they still use the same kind of layout, which is called Metroidvania. And just because the upgrading system, and honestly, this game is just amazing, honestly. I couldn't really get into the GameCube for some reason. Metroid on the GameCube, it was okay. There's some people that love it, but for me personally, I always go back to Super Metroid, just because the way it was back in that time. So that's my number 3. So for my number 2, I'm gonna have to give it to Street Fighter 2. This is a game that blew me away, and when I found out that this game was coming to the Super Nintendo, I was just like, I just couldn't wait, honestly. And I didn't pick it up on day one. I remember I picked it up maybe like a year after, or maybe I'll say couple months after. And I would play hours and hours of this game, day and night, like a religion, honestly. And I would only think about this game. I would be at school and I had to go home and play some Street Fighter. And at the time, we didn't have anything like this, honestly. And for me personally, when I got to play this game, I was just amazing, learning all the moves and stuff. For me, this game defined what all the fighting games are today, honestly. And Capcom, I salute you. You came up with something amazing. So definitely, this is my number 2 on the Super Nintendo. So for my number 1, to be honest with you guys, it was the toughest thing to come up with, because there's just so many Super Nintendo games out there, and I can play the Super Nintendo and just have fun all day. And there's just so many games in my list that it was just pretty tough. But at the end of the day, I chose this game because, to me personally, this game defined what entertainment is and what a platform is, and that game is Super Mario World. You know, I've been playing Mario since the 80s, and when Super Mario Brothers came out, you know, it was amazing. You know, it was a great platform game in the 80s. But when Super Mario World came out, I couldn't even believe what I was, you know, looking at. You know, the colorful atmosphere of this game was just amazing. You know, I mean, I know I'm repeating myself and say amazing a little, but that's the word that I have to say. You know, it was just something that it was just unbelievable, honestly. And you know, this is the game that made me fall in love with the Super Nintendo. The reason why I bought the Super Nintendo. And I remember as a kid going to electronic boutique, which was EB Games or GameStop or whatever, what they call it now. Yeah, this is the reason why I played video games, honestly, and got me into this franchise of Mario. And that's why when every Mario game comes out like that, it's a platform, I always look forward to it, because I always look back of where you know, this game got me into, you know. So definitely is my number one. So this is pretty much it for the video. Let me know down below, what are your favorite games on the Super Nintendo? What are your top 5? I would like to know. So this is Power Glove Pixels. Till next time.